Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the Scream Scene. I'm Jody Dean. Today, got a special treat, man. I got a director here with me. I found out about this guy more recently. I should have found out about him a while ago, but I seen something that caught my attention. Went down the rabbit hole and started doing some research. And I found out, this guy's been directing and doing some really cool stuff for a while. So here he is, August Aguilar. Did I say that right? I don't want to butcher your name our first time.
You know what, dude? That was actually pretty good. That was pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah, it's Aguilar. So I mean, you kind of had like maybe one little syllable off, but dude, everything else was great. Yeah, I've heard a lot worse, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
I should have said that off camera, but that shows you how real we're keeping it here, guys.
I love it.
August, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me, man. I'm super excited. I appreciate the kind words. Man, I'm just out here trying to pursue the dream, but live life and take it day by day. But I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm super stoked to have you here, man. I love passionate people. I don't care where they're at in the industry, if they've made their first film yet, if they're 50 films deep into the game. If there's passion there, I love to connect with those people, man. I mean, the same in real life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I relate to that a lot, man, because I've been doing this for about 8 years now. And for the first so long, I was like always trying to find the most. I mean, I still do, but like it always felt like I was getting more progress made when I found the right passionate people. And a lot of those people were overlooked by a lot of people, in the local scene. The people who have the most passion, whatever art they're trying to pursue, is some of the most creative, beautiful people in the world, man. And it's like, I just love connecting with them, trying to help them. I get inspired by them, they inspired by me, whatever it is. And so it's like, yeah, the more and more I do this, the more people I find, the bigger my network grows. But yeah, it's always great when you can find like that kind of the passion, and you can tell it's real and they're just doing it.
I love it, man. And I everybody, like, I find everybody in the most meant to be situations. Like some people that I know that do this, they probably think to themselves, well, okay, that would be good views. Oh, that's trending right now. Never crosses my mind, dude. If I just see somebody that's got like heart and they look like they love doing their stuff, I'm like, dude, that's somebody like me. I want to know this person. So before we get too deep into the passion, August, where are you from, man, and what got you into directing?
So originally I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My father, Frank Aguilar, currently still lives there. I've pretty much been up there my entire life, kind of just back and forth between there in Tennessee. So it's like a home away from home for me. And then so I primarily grew up mostly in Tennessee. Right now I currently reside in Knoxville, Tennessee. When me and my dad started making movies together back in 2016, that's kind of how I started blending my craft into Philly again, kind of really reinventing myself in Philly. And yeah, to kind of get to that point was really here in Knoxville. I just moved here to the city. I grew up like an hour and a half away from here. And I was working local news, and I just didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. And I was in this really weird place in kind of my early 20s. And I was kind of just like, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I was just so like, I thought you had to go get that big boy job, and right. When I realized when I got the news gig, which I thought at the time was supposed to be my career, I just hated it, man. I really just did not like anything about it. It was a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of politics involved, and I was out doing a lot of that dirty work. We're seeing a lot of really horrific stuff that happens in real life, and I just started really, really quickly kind of getting lost and trying to find answers and anything. And I was working a lot of overnight shifts, and then one night I was doing my editing in the Bay, and I saw an ad for a Knoxville Horror Film Festival, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna make a horror movie, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a movie. And I just I quit my job. I picked up a bartending gig, and I bought a camera. I started relearning some stuff on YouTube with the camera, with gear, directing, everything like that. And I set out to make the movie with my dad, because he was the first guy I kind of reached out to. I was like, hey, I want to make a movie. You got ideas? And we just kind of started pitching some ideas together. And we shot the movie, got in the festival, and then ever since it was like boom, 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 Strange Films was created, and we just haven't stopped since. It's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger every year. A little bit of background before all that was I was always interested in filmmaking. I was always a creative person. I was a writer growing up as a kid. I did some home movies, of course, as a lot of film people do at home with their friends and family. My college, thankfully, did have some film classes, so I learned a lot of editing, screenwriting classes, film theory, just everything about filmmaking in general. I didn't take it too serious at the time, which I wish I did, but I got enough to kind of get me aware of kind of what skills are and how to do things actually. So there was always a passion. It didn't seem realistic until I finally told myself, no, you can do it. You can do it. And who knows what's going to happen after, but you just got to do it. And then now it's like, it's my whole world. It's a 24/7 job. I'm just kind of like, it's kind of amazing to see like where it started and now what it is. And I'm still just like, what are you doing again?
I love that, dude. I mean, everything happens when it's supposed to happen. I've seen it throughout my whole life. I always heard people say that, and I'm like, I don't know, man. But I have seen it, and I love that. I do stuff with family too. I believe keeping family involved in things. That's awesome that you got to do this and pick it up with your dad. I mean, that's an opportunity that not everybody will have a chance to have that opportunity. But how cool! I mean, was horror something that you guys were both into like for a long time or your whole lives, or how did that come about?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because we weren't really that close growing up because I mean we lived separately, my mom got remarried, so it just happened. Life happens, so I always like visited him growing up, but like it was just one of those things where as I got older, I started realizing, oh, he's a person, I'm a person, we have same interests and things like that. And he was always showing me horror movies and stuff. I kind of realized he did have a love for horror, but I just never, at the time, I would say high school and maybe early college, I really wasn't set into horror yet. I was kind of still just like leaning into whatever, And so I always knew he had it in him. I started really liking horror movies in like late college and after college. And when I reached out to him about the first movie, I think we were just at a great kind of exploration phase in our lives because I was an adult, and he was, he was doing his thing, and it was just kind of like I would visit him at this point in my life. I was always visiting him by myself as an adult, so it was kind of fun to get to know him as an adult and kind of get to know him, who he was and who I am. So when he was kind of just one of my homies talking to all the time through texts and calls,
That's so cool.
and I'm really, really, really grateful for the whole thing, man. I mean, like you said, a lot of people don't get that opportunity, and I'm blessed I do. And he has we have found out since then that we have like the exact same taste, the exact same interest, the exact same style. Like when he gets excited about something, I get excited because when I get excited, he gets excited. We have that it's like a dynamic duo. We just know what's going to hit. We know what sounds fun. We know what's kind of thrilling, anything and everything. And it doesn't have to even just be horror. It can be kind of any general idea. So he just ended up naturally, without even us both knowing, that we were the perfect creative team, the perfect creative partnership that we never knew existed until we started. And it's been really, really cool, man. I'm really grateful for it. And we've just gotten so much closer since we started doing this. I mean, now we're just like, yeah, we're the Aguilars, So it's like, yeah.
You guys are a dynamic duo, man. Well, what's crazy is connecting through film is such a powerful thing. I mean, that's how we connect with audiences, and obviously it's such a big thing as people connect with the films. But the people that make these things, us, the people that are actually putting it together, it's such a strong bond and connection. Something I started doing myself is I told people from the beginning, I want to establish like a group of actors that I can use in every film. I'm going to give you different roles and change it up, but I want to build that team so it feels more like a family. And somebody was like, oh, like what Adam Sandler does. And I'm like, well, I've always just been into horror, so I can't tell you what other people do, but I think I've seen that. I think that's such a powerful thing to, have family intertwined in that. But then you kind of see that. Is your filming like that? Do you have like a group of people that you continuously work with? Like, oh, we're doing this. We're getting John. We're getting Kevin. We're like, everybody's coming back to the drawing board on this one.
Yeah, bro. It's that's the other beautiful side of this whole thing, that so there's Strange Films, and then we have this group called Strange Films Family. And we honest to God mean it with every fiber of our passion and our love for people and friends and family. Because over the years, a lot of this was one-man band stuff for a long time, just me doing everything, and getting we were always working with either like mid to ensemble cast or large cast or whatever it was. So I've worked with hundreds of people over the years, but it's, as you start kind of getting better at your craft and the stories are set and getting better, you find like that one actor, like, oh man, you are just absolutely incredible, and I have another idea for you, if you're interested. So I would say in the last 2 or 3 years, especially, we have really found our A team as far as actors go, and we have used them a lot in a lot of our films. I mean, Joe Casterline in our movies right now. I mean, Eileen Sullivan, Jordan Fraley, Jennifer Pearl. We've got Ray Bolin Jr. Like all these names, if you're familiar with Strange Films, you're going to see them because they've been in all of our films the last few years, and they're just playing even more dramatic characters every time, even more fun characters every time. And it's because I know their acting, they know my writing, or they know Frank's writing, they know our directing, whatever that is. And we just make this really cool, when we're all in the kitchen, something's going to be fire, it's really cool.
Right.
But we've treated every single person, no matter if they're crew, or regular extras, or just like, maybe even on our A or B team stars as far as actors go, but we treat everybody with respect and love, because it's like, without them, we really aren't making these movies. So we really need to keep you guys, like, we want you guys to be involved. We want to celebrate you guys just as much as you're believing in us and celebrating us. And I think over the years, since we tapped not only Knoxville, but Philly simultaneously, and treated everybody the same, no matter who they are, we have really, really grown an amazing community around us. And we do call them Strange Films Family, no matter if you're like our top star or, you've just worked with us once and you had a great time. And it's been really exciting and a lot of fun. But yeah, we do kind of have like that Adam Sandler or, Quentin Tarantino vibe, Christopher Nolan, they all have like like about 3 or 4 actors they always handpick in all their movies, and we do have that now. It's exciting, even, our new movie coming out later this year. I've already casted some of these veterans that I've had in the last few years of my movies. So it's a cool thing, cool feeling. And it's also exciting because you can experiment, what do you guys want to play, also versus what I want to, I have ideas for as well. So there's a lot, even more territory to cover. But it's great knowing that we're all in good hands.
Yeah, I love that. Beautifully said. And the thing that I love about that the most is through your first film, your second film, your third film, working on shorts, doing trailers with these people, all these things that lead up to, the feature work, you find out who you can really count on. And when you're making these films, I don't think anybody can prepare for that enough. Something always happens. So I feel like by doing it that way, you definitely limit the amount of headaches that can come. I mean, we already got to worry about weather, the air conditioning running in the background, equipment malfunctions. The worst thing in the world is putting your faith in people, setting a production date, and if they do, sometimes they don't show up, they show up late, or they show up unprepared. It's the worst. And when you develop that family or just a base of people that you can count on, it becomes a beautiful thing, man. Like now I'm to the point where I'm like, well, we're going to cast him because I know he can deliver, but also he's going to show, she's going to show. And that's kind of the pocket that we've got in. But I'm starting, now that I've started doing the podcast, I'm seeing a lot of filmmakers are doing this. Is this something that you're running into pretty regularly, like over the years now? Have you ran into those obstacles that I was just talking about?
Oh yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, especially starting out in the first few years, again, kind of being a one-man band, you kind of have to assume all roles for a second. You kind of have to understand, like, okay, well, if ABC doesn't show up or we don't have ABC, at least I know I can try to do ABC. It's like on top of the writing and directing and everything else, but that's fine. I can do all that. But you know, we've had people who have shown up, like you said, unprepared. We've had people who have not shown up or were an hour and a half late. That caused us to be behind. You know, we've had gear that wasn't working the way we thought it was going to work, or the location fell through when we said we were supposed to have 7 hours and we only had 2. You know, things like
That's
that.
the worst.
Shit happens all the
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
it still happens, and it still will happen. You know, especially when indie filmmaking, you're not budgeted by a big studio. You don't have every asset or every aspect in control. You know, you don't have all those things. So you're going to run into issues. But the important thing is, in my experience and what I do on my sets is, you know, we just roll with the punches. We have a good attitude about it, and we stay positive because, first of all, we're out here trying to make a movie, right? That's really exciting. It's fun. It's creative. It feels something passionate, but it's, you know, it is fun. Like, I'm trying to have fun doing this because
Yeah.
I'm a little kid at heart, man. Like, I love movies. I love, you know, pop culture and video games, music, anything and everything. So it's like, this is like, as serious as it is, like, it needs to be fun, because if this thing is like pissing me off to a point or stressing me out to a point where I just hate it, then I don't want to do it, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
we have to kind of cater to the obstacles sometimes, and we have to pivot. And luckily, I'd say 9 times out of 10, out of every obstacle we faced, out of every production we faced, I've had a great support system around me to either pitch ideas or.
Oh, did we lose you there? Uh-oh. Hopefully we didn't lose him there, guys. Hold on one second. August, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. I saw it totally lagged
We
out.
lost you for a second, dude, but I'm so happy you came back on, man. We've
All
had
right.
some incidences lately, but okay. Where you left off there, man.
Okay.
Just skip back about 10 seconds.
Okay, I was trying to say, yeah, I lost the connection there. I was trying to say, out of every bad obstacle that we may have faced, I've always luckily been around enough people to support, to either pitch ideas to help keep it flowing, or they roll with my ideas and roll my improv and my just way of saying, all right, well, if we can't do it like this, let's just do it like that. And people roll with the punches like that, you know? And if you have people who just can trust you, can trust your instinct, trust your vision, and trust like the impulseness sometimes, because you know what you got to do and you know what's going to work. Because I mean, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but I usually shoot, edit, write, everything. So like
Oh wow.
I shoot to edit.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Tell me we didn't lose him again. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay. Guys, what he was just saying there, I can completely relate to. I'm hoping that he's going to come back in here. I also do the same exact thing. And I really want to hear where he was going with this, because I do that. I shoot to edit as well.
Okay, sorry, I lost. It lagged me out again for a second. The audience was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, we actually have some clear weather here today. Yesterday,
yeah,
it was terrible.
here, but
You shoot
yeah,
to edit, you were saying, and
yeah.
I was dying to hear where you went with that, because I do that. I say that all
Yeah.
the time, and sometimes people look at me, how can you do that? I'm like, well, you got to do it to understand. Like that, like
Right.
we're the ones that do this, so we know what we got to get, and that's where it can kind of be run and gun. But I don't call it that. I'm just like, if I get what I know I need to make the edit work, let's move on. Let's don't waste time and money. You know.
Exactly, because you can understand where if something's not working here, but you know everything you've shot, it's like, okay, well, if I just get this one quick little thing right here, I know how I can transition that, and it's going to be fine getting to the next thing. And you know, a lot of people who don't see all that, they just think you're crazy for a second. They're like, "What are you doing?" You know, whatever that is, or don't we? You know, it can be tricky, but at the same time, if I guess the whole point of that story was, if you got people around you that believe in you, support you, or just roll with it, you know, that's kind of how you get through it. And when you show that product at the end and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, da, da, da," it's like, and then they really have that trust in you. So now every time you have them back on set, they're like, "No, he's good. Trust him. He's good." It looks unorthodox, but I promise it's good. So just, you know, and I've just been really grateful to have a lot of people who believe in the vision, believe in my style, believe in, like, you know, how I direct and work with people and stuff like that. So it's been cool, man. I'm real blessed.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like you are, man, and everything you're saying there. I mean, I've seen it. I'm living it, and people around me, like I'm seeing, like the indie filmmakers have such a blessing of doing things at their tempo and having the creative control. And you know, I've often thought to myself, and there's been a few situations where, like, maybe somebody stepped in and said, hey, you know, I'll give you this money, and then, like, right after, they follow it up with, so we're gonna I want to do this, and I'm like, whoa. I can see, like, the people I know that are doing big pictures that are studio funded. Some of their horror stories, man, are crazy, like wanting to change their baby or the formula that got them to why you're coming to them in the first place. But indie people, when you stay in that pocket, man, you can just do your own thing. And most of the time, if you have a fan base or if you have something special somebody's noticed, you don't fix what's not broken, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's really, really, like, especially how I'm seeing, like, the whole mainstream Hollywood scene has been unfolding over the last few years. And we've obviously, for decades, we've heard horror stories about it. But like indie filmmaking, there's tiers to that as well. You know, you've got the no budget filmmakers who no one knows anything about. You've got like the great indie filmmakers that have been making their names around the circuits and the streamings and things like that, and people are starting to gravitate towards it. And then you've got like indie filmmakers like, I mean, Kevin Smith, he's a little bit more mainstream now, but he was, I mean, he has and always has been like an indie filmmaker at heart. And, you know, he's just one of those guys I feel like has been an example where it's like, you know, he was making movies, whatever he wanted to make. And he was lucky enough to pick up a following and obviously a studio backing at later in his career. But like, it's just one of those things where I think indie filmmakers do have that opportunity to create fan bases very, very early on. And those fan bases follow them along for years or however long it takes. And, you know, next thing you know, that indie film a no budget picture turns into a $10,000 picture, and then it turns into a 50,000, then 100,000, because they have enough people who are trying to support that. These movies that they're making are getting funded themselves because they're just putting it out there saying, hey, we're trying to make this, and they're having enough support to back it, and they don't need a big studio to, you know, do that for them. They're having the consumers, the fans, the family, the friends, whoever it is, and other producers who are in that kind of pocket too. And you know, now you're just making art the way you want to make it. You're getting people who want to watch it. Somehow those projects can end up getting picked up by a theater or for a distribution thing or for a major streaming service or whatever that is. And then that career launches into the next phase of that career, which ideally it would be great to be able to still make what kind of pictures you want to make with the kind of a bigger budget studio behind you. But, you know, that's not always the case. But I do think it's really encouraging to know that indie filmmakers do have a great support system. You just have to have the audience. You have to find the audience, and the audience sometimes finds you. But but it is interesting to be in that space. It's challenging. It's not easy. It's not for the weak of heart. But you got it. If you're in it, you got to be in it, because it's there's a lot to it, and anything any person can make, someone's going to like it in this world. I mean, there's somebody who likes your stuff. I mean, it's just
Absolutely.
true, especially horror. There's the horror genre community is the best community, I think, when it comes especially for filmmaking, because they're so welcoming, so nice, so forgiving, so everything, you know. They just like, I love being at horror conventions and talking to people and, you know, telling me movies I've never heard of. And I'm like, and they're like, really, you know, they're supposed to be bad, you know, but they're awesome, you know, so
Yeah.
it's cool, you know.
Yeah, no, I love that too, man. I think it's the best time in the game right now to be an indie filmmaker. Like, out of all time, like, we live in a time now to where cameras can do so much and they cost so little. I think that's why back in the day you were chasing studios more, because you needed like the big dog cameras. Because if you had any hopes that your picture was going to make money, theaters really used to be the thing. But now, straight to DVD and streaming services, there's a lot of money to be made there as an indie filmmaker because of that strong fan base there is now with the catalog of horror there is. People live in, bro. I mean, they live it, they breathe it. Nobody hard. I mean, I haven't seen it. I say this all the time. I don't know. It comes up. You don't really see people like going and getting tattoos of like a romance movie they seen, or like maybe a comedy once in a blue moon, but like horror, dude, it's hard to find a horror fan that hasn't marked their body with their icons. And yeah, it just seems easier than ever with social media, and not just for filmmakers, but for music artists too. Like this is the era, man, where if you have a dream and you have some talent, you can make things pop. And I mean, did it make it a little easier for you, you know, coming out of, you know, coming from the news, deciding you're going to do this? Did you see like immediately you were able to get started? You start socials, you do this, and it's like, bam, I got a presence. And with that loving community, did you see like instantly, like, man, this is going to be something that people are actually going to watch?
It was a slow burn. I mean, I think the brand, I think part of me always knew it was going to happen, but like I had to prove myself, because it was like, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. First of all, like I was just now trying to figure out, like, I wasn't good at social media or anything like that. So I was kind of like, I guess I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? How do I like put myself out there as a filmmaker? I didn't even know anybody. That was the thing. It's like, I didn't know what to do. So, you know, it was a lot of Facebooking, you know, getting on groups and talking, you know, just saying, hey, I'm doing this. I've got a shoot coming up here, or this is my new movie, whatever that is. You know, Philadelphia really helped me a lot, because Philly is a thriving art city, you know, so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, you know, once we did Center City, my second film, things really started kind of, people were noticing. We're like, oh, who are you? You know, what is that? You know, things like that. Then it was kind of like, you know, I created a logo, or I hired an artist, Tim Severo, to make my logo for Strange Films. Once we established the logo, I think that was maybe even 2017 or late 2016. Either way, it was one of those things. Once that logo came out and I started posting the logo everywhere on top of everything, just saying, hey, this is Strange Films. You know, I've made this
people taking it more serious at that
people
moment.
Are kind of like, what's Strange Films? And also, I'm thankful my logo is pretty awesome. I love my logo, and people have tell me all the time it's like, it's signature. Like, once they see that logo, they're like, that's Strange Films. I'm like, hell yeah, thank you. But it's like, it's one of those things where it did take a while, because also at the time, I didn't know exactly what lane I fit in. I was so interested in doing so many different things artistically. I wanted to do music videos. I did about like 15 music videos, and I was like, I did documentary work. I was doing live events. I did a drama film. I didn't know where I was landing. I just kind of started doing things because I was like, oh, I have the power to do this. I can do this. Like, so when you kind of start getting excited about creating, you kind of just lose yourself in the moment of creating and not really saying, oh, this is a business. This is a brand. This is like, how do I get this to be bigger? You know, it wasn't until I'd say 2018, late 2018 to 2019, and especially 2020, right before COVID, where I was like, oh, Strange Films is picking up. People are starting to really watch these films, because at the time I was crunching out average 3 to 6 short films a year, plus about 6 to 7 music videos, maybe 8 music videos a year. So I was crunching out content like left and right, just trying to cut my teeth, trying to figure out how to get better, how to do this, how to write better, things like that. So people were really starting to pick up Strange Films, and my social media was starting to grow, and people were knowing my name in the local community and things like that. COVID happened. That kind of slowed everything down. We had a lot of big things in the air, and then all of a sudden they just crashed everything. So I was kind of like, because I didn't know what to do. We were on like the biggest high as far as winning a lot of awards, getting in festivals, getting our name out there. Our brand was really hot, things like that. And then COVID just shut everything down. On top of that, my son was born. So I kind of was like, oh my God, well, that was a whole perspective change in life, things like that. So I was like, really, I didn't know what to do, again, kind of with the brand. I didn't know what to do with the world of indie filmmaking, especially because I didn't know even what it was going to look like in the middle of COVID. But then we decided to my dad decided, he wrote the film Raven, our film Raven. And I went up to Philly in 2021. We shot that movie. that movie kicked everything back off, dude. We just like ended up somehow that movie was like the best thing we've ever made. Got in the festival. We won 2 awards. We were nominated for like 5. We got in a bunch of other festivals. We got picked up like internationally. We were like, people were watching it crazy. And then after that, I did this movie called He Comes to Kill. It's a slasher film. We did The Lion's Den before that. That got picked up like 1.8 million views on YouTube. Joe Bob Briggs handed the award for best film of the year at the festival. And it was just like one of these things where it's like, it was like boom, 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 boom. And Strange Films was like, the brand started kind of getting really loud and people were started really, really paying attention. And all of a sudden it did become like, oh, I have to figure out how to use social media to my advantage now, because now people understand the brand. Now people understand what Strange Films and myself, my name is. So that's kind of, I would say, honestly, back in 2022, I really started doubling down on social media. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make reels all the time. I'm going to do the TikTok. I'm going to do, YouTube lives, like anything and everything is social media. Even if I look like an idiot, because I was just like, I got to get myself out there. I got to post content, things like that. And I would say from really 2023 to now, over the last year and a half, everything's gone up even more because I've just been so engaging and just like really putting myself out there. Strange Films is now kind of like, I'm very fortunate and very blessed about it, but it's like we've just been able to really put ourselves out there to these events, to these festivals, to these premieres, and people are showing up, people are supporting, people are buying our shirts, people are buying our merch, people are wanting to work with us, people are reaching out from all over the world, just being like, hey, like I want to be a part of this, or can you send me that? And that's crazy to me. I'm like, how did that even happen? But I guess it was because I planted the seed back in the day and I just kind of stuck with it. I never stopped going away from Strange Films. I just kind of kept with the brand. I think that's another big thing with filmmakers. You have to be consistent with what you do. If you're going to put it out there like that, if you're going to put out a brand, if you're going to put out a show, whatever that is, you got to be consistent with it and be true to who you are, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, you're going to have your slow periods, you're going to have your really exciting periods. But either way, you got to be consistent with it and be honest with who you are. And I think I'm still learning a lot, and I still know more is going to come, but that's kind of the mentality I have with it.
I think it's beautiful, man. And you seem like a real great guy. And I know that goes so far, people wanting to work with you, the reputation, such an important thing. One of the biggest things you said there, I preach to people all the time, coming from the YouTube thing, is consistency is key. Where it's consistent, everybody's, hey, man, how can I make this YouTube channel pop? It's consistency. I worked for 1 year and 2 months and never made a dime. And then one day it just took off and I've been full-time at it for 5 years. I said, with this film thing, the last thing you want to do is create a fan base and then sleep for a while and take a nap. It's like, yeah, you can lose it. And COVID, I mean, nobody could help that. Like COVID hurt people and it helped people. I can see where it hurt productions on movies and stuff. As a YouTuber, it helped me because everybody was staying at home watching content. All of a sudden I see boom. Yeah. But on the flip side, getting out there and making stuff happen. Yeah, that was a hard time for some people. Some people had been, it benefited in the aspect that if they already had a film, like let's say like Terrifier. I know they said that they had a good chunk filmed, but then they were able to create some of the stuff they needed. So like it works, it hurts, but you got to stay consistent. And the good thing about social media is even if we do have a blackout, your presence is still there. You said a great piece of information there for any aspiring filmmakers, anybody that's in this thing that doesn't realize if you're putting out content right now, a logo is so important. It identifies your brand. The cool thing about filmmaking, though, is your name becomes a logo. That's the craziest thing in the world that people like. It's a Rob Zombie film. They didn't even say the name of the film. Did you see that new Rob Zombie film? It's just become one of those things. I mean, that's what I want to be known for. I tell people all the time, I'm like, 2 years down the road, what I'd love to see is somebody sees a film, they don't even know what they're watching. They walk into a festival maybe and like, oh shit, this is a Jody Esteem film. Like, like there's something like that you're identifiable with. So I think that's awesome, dude, that you got some awards under your belt. You've stuck with this thing. Duncan said you got a lot of pictures. I was looking, like I didn't know that at first. We're going to talk about Piglet in a second. That's how I found you.
Yeah.
But when I went down the rabbit hole, I was like, man, this guy's doing festivals. He's in love with this shit, and I got to talk to him.
Yeah, dude, it meant the world when you reached out to me. I really did, because like it's, I think as artists, as much as we're doing it for ourselves, there is a part of us who hope that somebody understands us and who sees what we're doing and says, "Hey, I see you, man. Like you got it. You're passionate, And like it's really rare when you have someone who just comes out of nowhere and says that to you. And when you reached out to me, it made my whole day. I was like, dude, thank you. I was like, yeah, I'd love to be on your show. Absolutely. And that's really cool.
Dude, I could see it a mile away. And everybody I do reach out to, that's why. Sometimes it'd be cool if you interview this person. I'll go there and I'm like, I respect what they're doing, but I'm looking for something, man. I'm looking for hungry. I feel like when you lose the hungry, it's just about money. And if it's just about money, there's nothing special, because when, like, dude, most people I know that have money are miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And we need it. We got to have it to live, right? It's got to pay bills and shit. And we all hope that the reason I love money is so I can do the things I love, which happens to be music and movies and stuff. But once you get to that part there, it's so noticeable. You know what I'm saying? Like I see people and I'm like, bro, what happened to the fire?
Yeah.
And then you see what they're making now, and it feels so different. It's too commercialized. I mean, that makes sense to you because you're a filmmaker, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, definitely, like, I kind of what I was touching on earlier, where it's like, dude, if I lost every ounce of like sort of fun and passion of it, I don't want to do it anymore. It's like I feel like there's something else fulfilling in my life that's calling me, if that's the case, because I don't know what it is, but I think the universe calls to me in very, very different ways and different times of my life. And being an artist is definitely like my main calling. I really think that I have to create. If I don't, I'm miserable. I really am. And being a filmmaker is an amazing opportunity to be able to share some of my exciting, most passionate things I love, also my insecurities, my things that make me sad, angry, whatever it is, my fears, anything and everything. And I can put it in a way that people are just looking at it at face value, entertainment. They're like, oh, wow, that was really interesting. That was really twisty. That was really sad, or emotional, whatever that is. But they really didn't know I was pulling shreds of me out of that to kind
like
of create
real-time therapy, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I dabble with a bunch of different layers of creativity. I mean, like Strange Films ended up becoming a multimedia production company because I was so interested in doing everything. I love music. I love art. I love comic books. I love podcasts. I love anything and everything that I grew up enjoying. So I was like, I want to make my own. And I was like, so I started making movies, and then I started dabbling with musicians. I started hanging out with them, making original music with them, and carrying the other musicians and showcasing their work and doing film behind that. I made my own comic books. I made 3 comic books. I started my own podcast network. I did everything that I wanted to do, and I'm still doing it because it's a grind. It's also passion and everything else in between. But it's like, that's it's who I am. It's an extension of me, and it definitely it has to be like an everyday and every year kind of job for me, because and if it ever did something, the soul that was taken away, I think you would see something different out of it. You would probably feel like he's just not in it anymore, and I don't want to be like that. If that was ever the case, I'd have to figure out something else.
Do you see yourself, or it's either you're one of these people or you're not? It seems like I am one of these people. Like I really look to the future, and I think about, like, it's not like I set it in stone, but I do think about where I want to see things. Do you, at this point right now, do you see yourself just doing filmmaking and making movies? And is that in game stuff?
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, at this point, I'm manifesting it currently. I have been manifesting it. I tell people all the time, like, I'm going to do it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it takes. I'm going to do it because I've gone too far. I mean, I can't just stop now. I mean, first of all, but secondly, like, it's like, it's one thing you kind of go out to go make a film for your first time, or, your second, third time, whatever. And it could be a hobby, which is fine. People love hobby there's a lot of hobbyist filmmakers, which I applaud. But then, you know, when you get a little taste of that and you're like, man, and you feel like you're on the top of the world, but you're still wanting more. You still see more in your head. You still feel like there's more out there. It's like, okay, how am I going to chase this? Next thing you know, you're hitting that next milestone and the next one, next one. Like my biggest, I think to date right now, my biggest milestone was I was just out in Las Vegas premiering my new movie, The Gifted. And I stood there in that theater. That theater was it looked almost like an IMAX screen. I had almost a sold out screening in Las Vegas. Which I was like, where am I? Like, what the hell's going on? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is the most amazing, incredible thing I've never thought I would ever do in my life. And I cannot believe I'm here. I'm doing this. I can't believe people are showing up to this and celebrating this and all these things. Right. Right.
Dude,
and
that's amazing, bro.
I mean, I'm still dumbfounded by it, but my crazy ass comes home and I'm like, but there's more. I know there's more. Like, yeah. Because I just see it. I feel it. It's my end game. I have to figure that out because it's like, because I think there's like this, everybody has their own journey. And I feel like this is my journey, but I really do think that my career will be filmmaking, being an entrepreneur, and celebrating art and musicians and everybody in between and helping indie filmmakers, especially. That's my niche. And I think that's where it's going to be at. And it's a lot of exciting things are in the air. A lot of unknown is in the air. And I don't know where but that's always how it's been. So I have to trust the process because every year it seems like something more and more is happening. And I'm really leaned into it now. I used to kind of be like on the fence, like, yeah, maybe I'm just a little, spacey or dreamy or whatever. But now I'm like, no, I am. But at the same time, I know I'm on the right path. I just have to keep going. I have to keep going.
It's a powerful thing, man, to know what you want and love it. I have to say though, man, congratulations on that moment there, on that milestone, and outside looking in, I know I just met you, but very proud of you, man. I love seeing people. I love seeing good people with heart and their stuff succeed, and especially in something like this. People can watch a film in 1 hour and 20 minutes, and they do take it as just face value. They don't realize every frame of that movie is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So to see somebody get some credit, some props, some love, and actually see all your hard work come to a sold out theater, man. I have yet to see one of my films in a theater. Like, I think every time I make a film, like it's been in some film festivals, don't get me wrong. But like, I'm never shooting for that. The way that I kind of feel like it works nowadays. And you did get some heavy traction with this Piglet. Still, we haven't even got to this part yet. But one thing I'm noticing with indie filmmakers is when you first mention something, whether it's the trailer or just in a lot of cases, just a poster, right? The distribution companies are coming out of the woodwork. Are you still there? Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Or are you still there? Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
It seems like now
what
I was saying is from the moment a poster hits the internet, if the buzz is good enough, these distribution companies are finding you, taking you to the theaters. They're saying this is going to have to be seen in theaters. Has that happened yet, or are you seeing a fire coming? Like, I'll say this: I'm sitting on Facebook one day and I see this Piglet poster, and I got excited, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is about. I just got really excited, and then I seen a lot of people get excited. So what's happening now?
This is probably the most excited I've been with my film career, because it is like bigger than me for a second here. Like everything has been like me creating my own path, carving my own path, and which has been very, very fulfilling. I'm very grateful for that. But I got approached a year ago almost, I think, for Piglet behind the scenes, and I was super busy with The Gifted and everything else, but I was interested. When I got that script, I was really interested. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. It is very, very old school Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Friday the 13th, just like gritty and raw and like in your face kind of slasher, what you want out of those tropes of a movie. And so I was like, this is my style. I like this. Okay, well, let's keep talking. Da, da, da. And over the course of the year, you know, once I realized like that's the team behind it, you know, we got Dr. Chud from the Misfits on board, you know, I mean, and we got Kelly Hudson, who's a writer, amazing, and Kevin Milliken, he's the from Spookhouse Media Works, who is a producer, and you know, just kind of adding all these like names to it, and it just started kind of getting bigger and bigger. It was one of these things where it was like, okay, well, let's see what happens when we announce it, because there was a lot of talk about, you know, what could happen, but we weren't going to know. So all the tropes of like the public domain horror stuff and everything, that's all exciting. It can go like you said, get the attention of people, but we didn't know what it was going to do, because Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 was coming out and things like that. So we're all, it's a little weird, nerve-wracking, things like that. Well, let's put it out there. Let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden we put it out there, and holy shit, like you said, just the internet is like blowing up now. Like people are like talking about it. Bloody Disgusting just picked it up. Rue Morgue magazine just picked it up. I mean, I'm getting people from I have no idea where coming out of nowhere and saying, "Hey, oh my gosh, this looks awesome. How can I be a part of it?" You know, I mean, to hear what you just said, that's amazing. You know, so it is really, really interesting, because I haven't been like in that kind of spotlight before. You know, I've always been kind of just putting out my own stuff with Strange Films, and I do have a great natural audience for that, but it's not like, you know, Bloody Disgusting's picking up Strange Films or anything like that. So that's like really crazy to me. So there's a lot of excitement about that, because we don't know what can happen when we produce and make this movie. Like you said, distribution sometimes comes to your door and says, "Hey, you're making something really cool. We want it. Let's put it out and let's do this little limited release here, and then we'll put it on Shudder or whatever that looks like," you know? And I'm like,
I can tell you right now, August, I can tell you right now, without a doubt, they are coming to you. It's look, dude, I'm calling this right now, and you can see we'll keep in touch. I know we will after this. It's going to happen. I've seen this over and over, how this is going to play out, and I think that's why I was super excited for you, because I just told somebody yesterday and the day before that and the day before that were filmmakers were saying, man, like a movie like In a Violent Nature, a movie like this Piglet movie, like how do they hit and just take off? When that happens, that is the recipe for them to come to you. And it's just a matter of time from here, man. You guys, a lot of people will never experience that blessing, bro. I'm thankful for it, because it made me go down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, wait, okay, well, who's directing this thing? August. Okay, shit. Let's look. Oh, okay. This ain't his first thing. And yeah, not to cut you off, but I want, dude, that's it, sincerely. This is a one, bro. This is next level shit.
Well, dude, I mean, like, I'm even getting jittery just thinking about what you're saying, because I mean, it is like I think the air is changing around me, like my physical and I know I sound spacey a lot, but man, like, it really does feel like something's happening right now. Something is happening right now, and I can feel the universe telling me, you're about to get busy. You're about to freaking go, and things are going to start happening left and right. And I think everything that I've been doing beforehand has been just like these stepping stones of like kind of getting myself ready for this kind of moment, you know? And I think, you know, regardless of what happens to Piglet, hopefully some success, you know, but like even if it would just end up being like a cool, like straight to, you know, physical media or a limited release thing, whatever ends up happening, it is still a blessing to be a part of it. Like you said, I mean, like something like that who's getting that kind of attention, no matter where it lands, I'm really grateful for the experience. And also I'm learning, dude. I am really, really learning right now, because I'm part of a bigger team that I've never done anything like this before. Like I've used to been doing this all on my own, maybe having a couple of people, my, you know, especially my dad as my creative partner, but like, you know, I'm working with a producer, I'm working with a writer, I'm working with a composer, I'm working with associate producers and other people who are having their stamp on this project. And it's like, it's no ego involved. Everyone's been so cool and so great. They're giving me a lot of creative control with it, which I'm super excited about. And it's really exciting to be kind of a part of a team like that, who are all we're all on the same page, super passionate. We're going to tell a kick-ass story. It's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a hit. And, you know, we're already getting attention on social media and people are supporting this thing. So that already gives us an upper hand when it comes to promoting this thing, releasing this thing. And if, you know, we do get picked up by some sort of distribution, or this does take like me, our team, Strange Films, anything to the next level, then, you know, I'm buckling in, because I'm like, I don't know where it's going to happen, but I'm here for it. And this is exactly what I've been wanting for all these years. And I still know I have a long ways to go. I still know I have a lot of work to do, and I'm just here and I'm grateful for it, because this is all I've ever wanted, man. This is all I've ever wanted. Even as a kid growing up, when they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said, I want to be a filmmaker, like a director, you know? And like, I never had some sort of aspiration to be like some sort of big boy job or something like that. I just was like, I want to do this. And I remember my first girlfriend telling me, that's a pipe dream. I said, okay, well, that sucks. Like, you know, and now here I am, a filmmaker, and who knows, the sky's the limit, man. You know, I'm just going for it. And I'm just here for the ride. It's an amazing experience. And Piglet, I think, is going to be an amazing artistic project for me, and exciting and fun. I think it's going to be probably my best film to date, of course, because the team we have behind it. And I'm just, who knows, man. But to hear your excitement, that gets me hyped, man. That gets me real hyped.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And dude, you said regardless where this lands, it is a win. It's so rare that anybody is indie horror filmmakers, as we talked about. We have one of the best communities out there. But it doesn't mean that you're still going to have a hit song. And the horror genre, I've seen this for so long now. A single poster hitting the internet, they can have no idea who you are, can spread like wildfire. Is exactly what happened, right? And the good news about this is yes, wherever it lands, it's brought some new eyes in, it's brought some new connections in. But I think the end result is going to be beautiful. I can't wait to see what happens with it. But also, man, I mean, you got The Gifted. What's going on with that film? For anybody that doesn't know, what's it about? How can they get it? When can they get it?
Yeah. So, and this is what's crazy, because I'm just now coming down from The Gifted. I'm still kind of even promoting it at the moment, but The Gifted has been our biggest release so far. Ginger Lynn Allen, as a lot of people know, was the star of our film. And that movie, that took a good portion of my life, the last year and a half. It's a kind of a horror drama movie. Ginger Lynn stars in, and she plays this character who confesses her sins to a priest who, to get rid of these like abilities that she has, because she's just really caused like pain and chaos throughout her entire life. And her way of redeeming herself is to maybe confess her sins to get rid of these abilities. And it kind of plays out like an anthology. So there's like it's essentially, we filmed it almost like 3 short films within a feature film. And it just all kind of goes throughout a timeline of events of Ginger's life, Barbara's life, which is, you see her as a little girl, you see her as like a middle-aged, late 20s maybe, and then you see her at present day. So it's a really, really interesting way of storytelling, and we blended both Knoxville and Philadelphia for the cast and the crew. We blended our entire Strange Films family. We had Ginger Lynn Allen on board, and that movie, man, it's an amazing movie. I mean, I'm really grateful for it. Kicked the shit out of me, but it was an amazing experience, and we had amazing positive results from it. Like I said, that premiere in Vegas, we had a sold out premiere, almost sold out premiere here in Knoxville too, up in Philadelphia as well. And we just premiered at FrankenCon again, and now it is on YouTube because I want people to see it. A lot of my ambition with what I do is I want people to see what I do, so I put everything out on YouTube. It is on Tubi. I encourage you guys to watch it on Tubi, because it just helps us out a lot. It's on Amazon Prime, which I'm grateful for people renting or buying. That's amazing. I appreciate everybody who does that. But if you don't want to do either one of those, you can just go on our YouTube channel and watch it right now as well, because it's there. I want people to see it. And so it's one of those things where, it took a long time to make. It's really cool. It's exciting. We've got a lot of great reviews from it. We ended up shooting a prequel to the movie called Barb and Vic, starring Ginger Lynn Allen as well, and Jennifer Pearl, which is the lead co-actress that she stars in The Gifted with. And when we went to premiere the movie in Vegas, we shot Barb and Vic in Vegas as well. So we spent the whole week shooting that movie. So that movie will come out sometime in 2024 as I get it edited, but it will be a companion piece to The Gifted on a special like Blu-ray DVD bundle, you know. But yeah, The Gifted, man, if anyone wants to check that out, it's on YouTube, it's on Tubi. Please check it out on Tubi. It's free there too. But the Amazon Prime, anything like that, I appreciate anybody who checks that. And Ginger Lynn, I'm so thankful for working with Ginger. She is so amazing, and she has been a mentor to me, and she's so supportive of what I do, and we have plans of working together in the future. I'm just super grateful for her collaboration and friendship. Really, she's become family to me.
That is amazing. Dude, I can't say it enough. I love to hear that. I love great experiences when it comes to this and music. It's always been something that I look forward to is getting the right people in the right place at the right time and making magic that will make other people happy. You said something super powerful there, man. Out of everybody I've talked to, I have not heard this yet. You spent a year and a half of your life making this movie, and it is out there to where you can make some money from this thing, but you're not forcing anybody to go that route. You've pretty much given it to the internet, so people can, guys, definitely go to Tubi and watch it. Okay, I think even on Tubi it's free, but at least creators have
free on Tubi.
they have the opportunity to earn ad revenue. But you put it on YouTube for the world to see, because you said something very powerful there, because you want people to see it. I think that's the number one thing, man, is everybody hopes for, is you put all this work into it and you're like, well, if they don't see it, then, you know, it's like, man, just the fact that you did that, bro, I got even more respect for you. I'm still blown away. When you said that, I said, did he say he spent a year and a half and he gave this movie to the internet? That's a beautiful thing.
Well, dude, it's like one of those things where now, you know, we'll see what happens as the future, you know, unfolds here, especially, you know, something like Piglet. I know we're not going to just like put on YouTube, but like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, my thing is, my name is August Aguilar. I run Strange Films, and you may not know who I am. You may not know who Strange Films is, but I have a lot of stuff I can show you to maybe you like who I am and like who Strange Films is. So I want to show you what I've got. And until I get to that point where everything I do has to be some sort of money thing, you know, I want to give my like what I'm capable of, what my passion is, you know, what kind of stories I can tell and things like that, because the money will come. I always believed in that. The money will come one day. I'm not worried about it right now. I mean, obviously everyone loves money. I do love money, and I want to be able to support myself, my family, my son, especially. Like, I want to make this dream my career where I have nothing to worry about one day. Like, dude, I can't like people to buy my stuff. I'm people buy my stuff. People want to buy Blu-rays and DVDs and, you know, posters or stickers, anything else, and you'll rent it on Amazon or whatever. But if I can't, if I'm not going to ask somebody and not, you know, they're kind of, or they're hesitant on buying something, here, just a poster, go on YouTube, check it out, just check it out. If you know, asking for maybe it helps my channel. Like, no, I just think that that's my way of showing people,
I
like,
love that, man.
This, you know, I'm really trying to put myself out there.
No, that's great. I think that's awesome that you're doing that, man. And you know, a lot of respect, a lot of props, and I think at the end of the day, man, everybody should take that right there is why this is probably going to be one of your future favorite filmmakers right here, because that, I mean, that proves the passion, it proves the heart, man. That's huge. But let me ask you, man, we're talking horror, we're talking Piglet and The Gifted. And we've had a little bit of a connection thing here, bro. I hope to God it happened a lot just then, but I'm hanging in there because I'm like, okay, like I still make sense of this. What would be the dream franchise you'd love to see your name attached to as a director? Specifically in the horror genre, if you've thought about this.
I was kind of asked this on a recent interview, and I think I'll stick to my guns to it just because I think I could have the most fun with it, and I think I wouldn't piss too many people off, which is I know it's up in the air right now with all the plans and cancellations and rights to it, but Friday the 13th would be the franchise I think I would personally love to be a part of. And I just think because I was like, your shirt, it's just one of those franchises that you can have so much fun with, and you could probably take Jason and put him in almost any kind of element that's different than what you've seen him in and still make something super fun, super scary, super, campy, even if you want to go that route, or all of the above, and just make the scene, like the scenery, the atmosphere different every time, because you can just take him anywhere. He goes down, well, you thought wrong because he's coming back in this next part, he's coming back. So, and same thing with all these other slashers, but man, it's so sensitive when it comes to like Michael Myers. And I have such a love when it comes to Michael Myers and John Carpenter that I'm just like, I don't think I want to touch that legacy. I don't want to do anything different with that. And Nightmare on Elm Street and like Scream or something like that, again, kind of muddy waters for me, a little bit personal reasons and things like that. I like them and stuff like that. There's like all these other franchises I feel like I don't think I have the right to ever touch. I just want to enjoy. But Friday the 13th, I'm not even trying to say I have the right to, but it would be cool to play with that sandbox because I feel like it's a lot more open, loose ground,
Yeah. No, dude, I love that. And I love that franchise. I know for me personally, man, it's Wrong Turn, the Wrong Turn franchise. Cool. I am the biggest Wrong Turn fan. I love what they've done with that. And that is actually, I said from the beginning, I want to write and direct all my films that I ever do. I mean, I pretty much do everything there is. I don't know if the only thing I really hire people for is I hire actors, and then I may hire people to do, I don't even want to use the word grunt work, grip work, whatever. Hey, hand me those gloves. Hey, carry this in here. Hey, get people water. I hire people for that. Other than that, I do everything. But that's one thing I always said, that I would never like put myself out there to do other people's projects. Like it's just a personal thing. Like I want to write them. I want to direct my own because I have so many of them. I've just been writing scripts nonstop for like 10 years. But man, the Wrong Turn franchise, if I could have the opportunity to do anything, I would. Hell, if they asked me to be a grip, I would do grip work, man. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I love that franchise so much. Yeah, but Friday the 13th, bro. I mean, listen, dude, like I got the shirt on, I got the hat on, I got the toys on the wall. Yeah. You can't go wrong with a Jason movie, and there's just so much room to play around with there. And like you said, I mean, you keep growing and keep going beyond. Have you ever been in a bad position when it comes to directing? Even though people are actors, some people are divas. They don't like direction. They're stubborn. They can only see things their way. Now, I know we said we both have built some good teams, but there's got to be some points there. Like, have you ever been in a bad position to where it was just like,
yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. When I'm out of my element, as far as like, I don't have full control of like, I didn't set everything up myself, which is the case for half of my filmography. When I go to shoot in Philadelphia, because I'm from there, Frank's there, he usually sets everything up for me. When I go up there, there's been numerous shoots up there where it's been like dude, you said I had this, I don't have that. You know, it's like, you said this person was legit, this person's not legit, you know, whatever that is. That has caused extreme stress, anxiety, and things like that, which causes a lot of tension. It causes a lot of time crunches, you know, shortcuts, however you want to call it, you know, things like that. But, you know, again, kind of going back to how we were talking earlier, you just roll with the punches, you stay positive, you just keep pivoting, you keep going, you keep going. And thankfully, all those productions, you know, have came out really fun and exciting still. I will say in Las Vegas, dude, when we shot the Barb and Vic story, it was totally, I'm in Las Vegas shooting a movie. Where am I? You know, what, I don't know any of these people. I don't even know where I'm at right now. And I'm like, you know, here I am as a director coming out here trying to shoot this movie. And, you know, we did have one bad apple on set for the whole 3-4 days we were there. And, you know, it was one of those things where it was questioning my reputation, questioning my abilities, questioning my, you know, who I am as a director and the talent I had with me and things like that. And, you know, just really kind of trying to take the morale down on my whole team. And thankfully my team was very, very like positive and like disregarded a lot of that and believed in and still followed my vision. And I was able to move forward. I had people who pulled me aside and said, don't listen to that. You just keep going. We're going to do this.
That's right.
This, you know, and we're going to finish this. And I was like, okay, you're right. Absolutely. We're going to keep going. You know, in the moment, it can feel very insecure. It can feel very down. It can feel like, yeah, who am I? Like, what am I doing? You know, like this, like I'm a nobody or whatever that feeling may feel like. And when you have one of your best actors pull you aside, who've been with you for the trenches for the last few years, and pull you aside and say, hey, nothing you can say or do is going to change that moment, but all we can do is keep moving forward, and we're going to finish this, and we're going to do it right. And, you know, and say, you got this, you know, that tells you like, hey man, you're right. Let's just keep going. And again, that comes back to that full circle moment where we're just like, you have to have the right people around you who support you and believe in you and will encourage you and just say, dude, like, don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the negativity. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Just do what you're doing and try to be better every time. Obviously, like I always say, 1%. Just if you can do 1% more every day, to no matter what you're working on or whatever that is, like you're going to be in good shape because you're trying to still stay consistent with what you're doing. And me being out in Las Vegas shooting a movie that I had no idea what I was doing, I mean, it's a pretty big percentage for my opinion, but it was still just like a moment where I was like, yeah, dude, you're right. I am out here in Las Vegas. I am shooting a movie and I am making this and we're going to have a badass film after this, you know? And you had to believe in that, but there's always going to be moments for directors on set when it's just too much for a half a second, you know, it's just too much. It's like you're running out of time or your cast is pissed off, your crew's pissed off or whatever that is, or someone's giving you trouble here, someone's giving you trouble there. And you can either cripple and everything goes to shit, or you can just say, hey guys, okay, we're going to get through this. We only have a little bit more to go. Let's finish it. And then you just finish it. So yeah, man.
I love that, dude. And you gave a lot of good nuggets of inspiration and advice right there. And it's the truth, man. Surround yourself with good people, especially if you're doing this kind of work, man. And hey, listen, I've seen that a few times too. And I love it when weeds pull themselves. Luckily, we're to the point where we got a pretty clean yard, man, and surrounded by the right people. You got a good attitude. You got a good energy, bro. You're doing good things. Again, congrats. I'm proud of you. I want to have you on again. You know, we had a good conversation here, but I didn't even get to ask you half of the stuff that I wanted to. So let's link back up and do this again. Especially when you start production on Piglet. Is that happening soon?
So this can be news to you and everybody, but like we've got in not this weekend, but next weekend, June 7th, June 8th, we're actually going to be starting to film some of the first footage for Piglet. Really some trailer stuff as well, kind of prepping people up for the September shoot. So mid-September is actually when we're going to do the full production for the full movie. That's going to be a big process as well. But from June until then is going to be our Indiegogo promoting the movie. We're going to have trailers out. We're going to have social media clips out. We're going to have all kinds of footage behind the scenes, things like that. You're going to start seeing some early glimpses of Piglet and things like that over the summer. So we're going in production essentially next weekend for some early stuff, and then the full production in September. But dude, I would love to absolutely come back on the show anytime, man. It's been great talking with you, dude. It's been definitely a good connection here, and I appreciate all the support.
Thank you. Absolutely, dude. And I appreciate you. I look forward to, you know, everything you're gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is August Aguilar. Again, man, when I say that last name, I'm like, I want to say it right because I really respect this guy.
I appreciate it. You got it.
Follow him on Instagram, Facebook. Just go down the rabbit hole, guys. Look him up. Go to IMDb. That's what I did. I started like, wow, okay, he's done this, he's done that. You guys can do the same thing. He's on YouTube. He gave you a movie on YouTube. You can go watch it right now, but don't do that. Go to Tubi and watch it. Go to Prime. Support, man. Indie filmmakers. We put a lot of work into our stuff, and we truly love what we do and the people we do it for. So August, thank you for coming on here, man.
Thanks, dude. It means a lot. I'm serious. Thank you so much, and thanks for all the support. I can't wait to keep talking with you later on, and yeah, we'll keep at it, man. I'm proud of you too, man. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great show, man.
Thank you. I
want to watch some of your movies, man. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Bo. Stay on here for just a second, guys. I love you so much, man. You know, we post every week here. Make sure you smash that thumbs up, comment below, share this on social media. This is the Scream Scene. Make sure your notifications on. But until next time, sweet nightmares.